I just found a YouTube channel from 2008 that took me so far back to 2008 that I think I'm going to vote for Barack Obama in this year's presidential election. Pretty fucked up, huh? Hey nobodies, it's me here once again, here with my co-host Mr. Nobody. So, a lot of people have told me that I'm like an old school YouTuber, that I remind them of like old school YouTube vloggers from back in like the early days of YouTube, 2006, 2007, 2008. And I actually take that as a compliment because I actually do that by design because, well, I am actually an old school YouTuber. I've been doing this for close to 20 years. A lot of you were around back then. A lot of you used to watch my old channel, which is called Just Keep That in Mind. That's always going to be my era. So I have a lot of nostalgia for that time. Now, I don't want to sound like another one of these fogey old YouTubers who's all like, yeah, YouTube was so much better back in my day. You young whippersnappers are missing out. But that being said, YouTube was so much better back in my day. You young whippersnappers are missing out. Anyway, not too long ago, I was thinking about some of the old school YouTubers who I used to watch back in the day. And I went on a little bit of a YouTube nostalgia kick and tried to look up some of these YouTubers who I used to watch. And unfortunately, most of these YouTubers have since closed their channels. Some of them are still up, but they have all the videos removed. But one channel in particular I found, not only was it still up, but they still had all their videos up. And that channel belonged to someone who called himself Jared Oz. His channel was called Jericho Squink, but he called himself Jared Oz. Some of you might even remember him. He was somewhat popular back in the day. Now, I'm going to post a link to this guy's channel in the description. You got to see it. If you want to see a perfect snapshot of what YouTube was like back in the early days, you got to check this guy's channel out. Now, Jared Oz, I don't want to like sound like I'm picking on this guy because I actually used to know him a little bit. He was a friend of a couple of friends. He used to hang with a couple of old friends of mine like Big Al and Magus X1, other great old school YouTubers. And I talked to him a couple times, and he's actually a pretty nice guy. But I went on his channel and watched some of these videos. And have you ever watched like an old YouTube video and been like, yep, George W. Bush was definitely the president when these videos were created. That's how it was for me. These things were products of their time. And not that I'm insulting the guy. I mean, all of our videos from back then were products of their time. I mean, like my Dollar Tree video that a lot of you saw, that was definitely a product of its time. But these videos were most certainly products of their time. A lot of his videos were just like rant videos where he was kind of shitting on all of the changes that YouTube had been making, which just goes to show you that even back then, during the classic days of YouTube, people were bitching that YouTube wasn't as good as it was back when it first started. So, I mean, I guess maybe we look back then with rose-colored glasses. But there's some videos of his that really stand out for me, that really give you that sort of 2008 feeling. First, I want to talk about his beta channel rant. His beta channel rant was beautiful because he's standing in this really cheap motel room. He's got his legs spread apart. He's got his arms spread apart. And he's just standing there like a character selection on a PS2 game or something. It was delightfully awkward and just so delightfully 2008. Again, I'm not knocking the guy. I mean, I got awkward posture too. You know, I'm sitting here swaying. Then another one of his rants that I want to point out is his YouTube popularity rant, which I highly suggest you check out. Because he does this YouTube popularity rant and he's sitting behind this little tea table. Now this dude, he's like a massive dude, you know, he's all big and muscular, and he's sitting behind like this little tea table. It looks like something that like little girls would have like little tea parties at. His limbs are all just hanging out of this table, and it was just so 2008. What can I say? And another video that I want to recommend is his overrated YouTubers video, because he's talking about the overrated YouTubers at the time. So he's talking about Fred and Smosh and Nigahiga and Magabon, and I'm just sitting here like, wow, these are names I haven't heard in years. Not only were these popular YouTubers back then, but they were also considered overrated. And also in this overrated YouTubers rant, he does an impression of Fred, because that was like a unwritten law back then, you know, for us old school YouTubers. Pretty much every old school YouTuber from back then had to do an impersonation of Fred. It was either like Fred, or you had to do a parody of Chocolate Rain, or you had to do a Leave Britney Alone parody. One of the three. It was basically almost a required thing. He also did like these Ghetto Mander videos where he has like a Charmander doll and he like gives it a voice and makes it into like a character or something. That was kind of a thing back then. There was a lot of like grown men from back in those days who used to give voices to stuffed animals. My old buddy Darkness the Curse used to do that too. Again, I mean, I'm not judging. I mean, you're looking at a guy whose co-host is a piece of paper. And the best thing about these videos is that they were all edited on glorious Windows Movie Maker with that hideous white text in front of the even more hideous baby blue background. Oh man, just seeing that just brings back all sorts of glorious 2008 YouTube goodness. Now, I don't know if you could hear, but Dusty's been in my living room chirping really loud since I started recording this video. So, Dusty, do you have anything you want to say? You have anything to say? All that chirping you were doing, now all of a sudden you have nothing to say. Oh, now you got something to say? What? You think Jared Oz should come back to YouTube? Do you think Jared Oz should come back to YouTube? I do too! Yes, Jared Oz, you should come back to YouTube. Start uploading videos to your old channel again, man. If you're watching this, come back to YouTube, because we need more great old school YouTubers from back in our day. Anyway, that's pretty much all I got to say in this video. I'll see all you nobodies later, and keep it cringy, everyone.